No. Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Let's see what I've got here first. 5020s, SRC, that's right, I accidentally doubled up on those, damn it. 3030s, that's what I'm after. The rest of these will go into the MacBook repair component container, which means I will forget what I have ordered and probably duplicate that order a few times over, just for good measure. Because I keep everything so nicely organized. There you go. Alright, I sincerely hope these work. I haven't used these ones before. These are VRM chips for things like the 1398 boards. But I haven't used the 2020s before, so if this goes pop, then a certain person whom I won't mention by name, Mr. Tim, will get a very angry message from me. You'll get another rebuild tonight, so don't fret. DeAndre 96, thank you. You're welcome. I appreciate the £2. Okay, so these 6708s, and got fair reason to believe that they're suffering the fairly typical electromigration decay. So we're going to swap them over, and hopefully the 2020s do the job. Mark, all my recommended stuff is on the tools page. I just realised this is a little out of whack there. There you go. Yeah, all my stuff's on the tools page. So if you're curious, you're going to go have a look there, and you'll get more than just the microscope. You get the microscope, the camera, the adapters, everything. Hey Miles, man, I am having choke-up time. Must be all the emotion. Thank you, Travis. I do like to just give the CPU a little bit of protection. It's not a huge amount of protection, but it's a little. Hey Ed. Particularly with this particular task, getting these VRMs off is a little bit rough on the board. I wouldn't say it's my sinuses, it's just a bit of a frog in the throat for some reason. Can't say I entirely trust that. Yeah, I think I'm going to lift that and redo the solder under it. It just feels like I've got a. It feels like I've got an air gap under the chip. Hey Steve, you got your Noah's Ark ready? Oh, Mr. Vasco, thank you for the 129. I should know what the DKK is. Can't get to that damn back one. Just gonna have to reflow it. Yeah, that's it. Danish krone, that's it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes. Thank you. That's a little crooked. I can see it. It's. Don't know if I've got the energy in me to completely rip it up. I don't think I have. And you really can't take too much of a break between these. You just got to soldier through, get them all replaced, because you don't want to have to keep reheating the board. I'm able to get away with using the micro pencil because the board is still hot. If the board cools down, then there's no way I can do it with the pencil. Flux alsjeblieft. Daar, dankie. Yeah, there's a little bit of South African, well, Afrikaner rather. Gotta remember that, you know, Afrikaans is just one of many. Okay, it looks like I've been diddly-doing around with this board before. What the heck? What am I starting to think that I've actually done this board before? That'll be almighty embarrassing. Okay, I'm a little worried about that connector just there. This one here. So we'll just shield that off. That's a bit much. Oh well. Yeah, please don't do that. Okay, there was just too much solder under that one. I couldn't control it, so I just had to squeeze out the excess and then I go back and do the proper reflow. They'll probably turn out to be my best one. It really actually doesn't need anything. And there's a itty bitty bit of drift onto here. Actually, yeah. And I got a bridge in those two caps. Not anymore. Jacob, you're welcome. Thank you for the 50 Danish kroners. Might start learning something here. John White. Yes, people are feeling a bit that way tonight. Alright, everything's reflowed. Oh my god. Yep, that got drawn up into my 200 watt exposed impeller. I was very lucky it didn't actually do a lot more damage. Very, very lucky. That could have been a vastly more entertaining video. Thankfully it was not, for my sake. I'm having trouble getting this camera in position. Yeah, I did actually have a grate on it, but it wasn't that great. But no, I did have a grate on it and it deteriorated and I never got around to putting another one on there. I really actually should compare what I'm about to install here. Like I said, I mean, yeah, I don't know if Tim actually tested this particular model or not. Okay, so what do we want? FDM F3030. I should have done this before I soldered them on, but anyway. I didn't even check to see if the pins were compatible. Oh my gosh, I'm a complete idiot. Anyway. Right, so now what I'll do now is also get the other ones, which was the... What are these? The 6807s or 6708s? What? FDMF 6708. Hey Joe, Alexi. What? Why are they forbidding access to a data sheet? Alright, so these are the critical things we care about. Just going to move things around a little bit here, so don't get all upset. I need to do a bit of top and bottom comparison type thing. Okay, Z enable yes, VCN yes, VDrive yes, boot yes, C ground yes, GH yes, phase, NC, vin, whoosh, begund, wish to 35, yep, GL 37, 38. Alright, okay, so the pinouts are comparable. So I don't know what I was doing, just taking people's suggestions without checking myself. And let's see. 50 amp, 50 amp, 40 lead, clip bomb, PQF end, DR MOS 6x6. So far they're matching up. Alright. I guess it's a smoke test then. So normally I am very cautious about doing part substitutions, like I do a lot of checking on them, because as a designer I'm well aware of, even though parts might have a similar footprint and maybe the same family and stuff like that, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to work together. So you get very cautious about this sort of thing. Okay, we're actually just going to press stick that. We're not going to go full crazy. And yeah, so normally I don't just take people's suggestions blindly, I go and double check, but for some reason I did this time. Okay, just that. Hey Greg. Alrighty, okay, here we go. Hopefully we don't have any flashbangs. Hopefully we just have blinky blinky. Power's good. Give me a fan spin. Okay, good. So far so good. Now we just need our blinky. And we've got a blink. Thank God for that. Alright, so it's confirmed the FDM F3030 does seem to work, at least initially. We still have to put this through a bit of load testing. Oh, Miles. Yeah, the scary thing is that you're right. A lot of people wouldn't troll me, but sometimes that in itself becomes the way in which you get trolled, by the fact that if someone has been trolled and they don't realize it and they pass you that information, then you sort of take it on with trust incorrectly. So yeah, that could be always a bad thing then. Yes, I do, Tony. I've got this little adapter and it works. I will, it does blink on the USB-C. I did talk to Harold, and he's working on a new version of the USB-A one, just to improve it slightly, and he is working towards a genuine full USB-C one, but that's a little way away. I think he's going to end up with a whole bunch of stuff on it, so it's going to turn into a bit more of a project. Yeah, Tony, that's right. Trust but verify. And I got to sneeze. Alright, I managed to get the on-off button to the off position in time then. Saved all your ears. Hey Steve, welcome back. Can you really blame the NBN though, in this case? Surely it's not the flooding that you guys have got? That said, the NBN is such a shame. It's like a lifelong stain for Australia now. The NBN is this sort of like hack job, disgusting hack job of a network compared to what we should have had. And the sad thing is, what we should have had would have been cheaper and here sooner. But instead, that just completely didn't happen. Yes, this is a big disgusting mess right here, right now, but I want to put it into the chassis and give it a good test. Because that is the thing with these. Let's see, is this right? That is the thing with these setups, is that um, when you change the VRMs, you really do need to load the stress test the CPU, then put it through transitions and things like that to see if they can react properly. Make sure you don't get too much overshoot, not too much sagging, all that sort of stuff. Riston on the repair list is just, I don't really have anything specific. I'm just going through and trying to clean up my queue. I've got, how many have I got? Let's see, 4, 8, 16. I've got 24 slots available in this room. And basically they have been filled up with jobs that I simply haven't finished off properly, or been waiting on parts, or just lots of itty bitty bits and pieces, and as a consequence, everything is getting stalled now because I've got to clear the queues in order to make room for new stuff. And there's a bit of a psychological aspect to it. Now, I'm not one for too much of the whole esoteric stuff, but I have noticed one way or another, maybe one day I'll scientifically find out why, that when I get into these situations, then there's a bit of a distinct drop-off in the amount of jobs I get coming in. It's almost like I'm deliberately stalling the universe. Yeah, I know, that's a little self-aggranding of myself, but I'd be curious if other people have experienced the same. Yeah, I'm not trying to say I can make the universe jump to my bidding, but rather there just seems to be a bit of a correlation. Is it a causation? I don't know. But correlation? Moderately. What am I missing here? I feel like a moron. There it is. Yeah, 26 of those 24 slots are full. That's exactly the way to describe it. Yes, thank you very much, Barry. And amusingly true. God, I hate this. It's the battery pull. Don't hang around with a metal implement around that area. Ah, finally. Oops, sorry. Ah, Victor Nyang's here. Is he? Do I see him somewhere? Hello, Victor. Christian, you talking about like my business address and stuff? Nothing's changed at this point. Half the reason why I was so eager to buy this place is I wouldn't have to go through the pains of changing too many things. Hey Jason, Victor is here. Nihon. Okay, I haven't put the cross cable there. We're not worried about the daughter board at this point. So I just want to set it up so I can put it on the bench behind me and let it run for a while. Hey JCT. Okay, interesting. That must be I'd say that's one of my personal test ones. It might have been when I was diagnosing it initially for the power issues. And I will place a screw into the main board. Stop it falling out. (50-50). Hey Anthony, yep, keep him busy. Let's first initially see this as boots. The battery's in it good, so I can actually disconnect this and move it if I have to. Two amps, so it's charging at least. Oh. So Paul says I'm going to plug in the daughter board, and well, that's one surefire way of making sure your boot stick doesn't get detected. Damn it. Okay. Yeah, what just happened there? What's going on here? This thing's boot looping. Ah, hell. My yellow one, I don't think so. Based on the fact that I can't even recall, I'd say I definitely don't think so. This is no good. Jeez, I hope I didn't fry that CPU. Alright, we do have life there. Okay, well, there's a couple of things that could have happened here. The first one is that it could be that one of the chips is not sitting down properly. Those VRMs are very sensitive to having gaps under them. And if you have a gap under it, they will just simply stop working properly. They'll be able to cope with a moderate amount of load, but then when the real load comes in, when the CPU really wants to start kicking, then they just there's too much resistance across that gap, and they stop delivering the voltage required. Battery is disconnected. Kyle, no, unfortunately, Mr. Daniels the Magician, who wasn't really named Paul Daniels, has long since left us. And Debbie McGee is just waiting still. Okay. Oh. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'll reflow those 3 VRMs, and hopefully that will be it. But it may be a case of the 3030s are no good. They can't, deliver the required load. And in which case I'm kind of back to the drawing board a little bit. Pianov, as far as I know, the battery should be reasonably okay. It was charging on its own. Okay. What am I missing here? Anthony, I can check that right now. Anthony, thank you very much for the 34, 35 Australian. So, and yes, very happy now that we've got the property. We can actually focus on something other than trying to acquire the property every second day. That was one squirmy fit. Did not like that at all. This is an A1398, this one. And they have a problem occasionally with their voltage regulator modules, which are down here on the CPU. And so you replace them, but sometimes your replacements aren't perfect, as in right now. And you have to go back and check what you're doing. Alright, Pianov, well that's good to know. It was Tim Herman that gave me the 3030 number in, because I was after the original ones that we used to get, the 5808s or whatever, and I couldn't get them anymore, at least unless I bought a couple of hundred of them. And so Tim said, use the 3030s, and I was like, alright, okay, we'll give the 3030s a shot. At least the heatsink is on the board this time. Take your glasses off, Paul. Oh. I think this one's alright, but like I said, we'll just give it a bit of a wiggle and push down. I got the wrong damn tweezers. The other tweezers I have, their points are too sharp. I was worried about the connections behind this one. Yeah, that seems fine. Kyle, that's what we call flux. It basically inhibits the corrosion. Like because we're hitting it with hot air, it will have a tendency of wanting to oxidize with everything around it. And so we use flux to partially stop that, and secondly to actually clean up anything around. Damn it, I've got to take the heatsink off for this last one. It's basically both a cleaning agent and a protective barrier. So this is what it is. Hey Damaris, can't believe I've got to take the heatsink off. Hey 3X. Doing. Yosef, your wife needs a new iPhone replacement for an iPhone 6. What would you recommend? Either the 6S or maybe the SE or an 8. 6Ss are really still very good phones. Just trying to find it. Where I'll put that little shield. Oh, it's in use. Duh. It's fun when you go looking around for a shield that's actually right there in the camera view. If you go the XR, remember that's not going to have the home button on it, so I don't know if that's going to be a problem for you or not. Which one are you anyway? You're 163. But yeah, it's just something to keep in mind. Some people really don't migrate well to the slide up rather than the actual home button. I don't recall there being anything else really. I'm just trying to remember what I did on this. without going back to the job log. So there's... that's right. Liquid damage up here. See if any of those are weak. No, that should be okay. I swear this is what dentists are doing to your teeth. Yeah, when you feel them, they're just probing around. They're like going, oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, that one didn't fall out, Johnny, so looks like you get to keep that one. So now, when I'm at the dentist again, this is what I imagine they're going to be doing. They're just checking to see which of my teeth fall out when they when they press on them. So, oh yeah, Mr. Daniels, it appears you kind of lost a couple of teeth from corrosion there. So you can see one rail was active while there was liquid there. I'm not sure why the PCH has that going on there. I can get away with doing that for putting the heatsink back on simply because of the fact that the transfer medium is fairly young still, fairly new. Obviously once I've ultrasonicked it, then yeah, I'm going to do a proper job that replace it completely. But for the purpose of the testing, it shouldn't be a problem. Famous words, Paul, famous words. Shouldn't be. Okay, we'll just make sure that it does boot still. Make sure we haven't gone backwards. Man, that MagSafe is in a terrible, terrible condition. I tell you, that doesn't sound fun at all. I used to have brilliant teeth, and then my sort of mid to late 30s came along and just ruined me. It's like all of a sudden my mouth became this haven of acid, and the enamel on my teeth did not appreciate that one bit. By the way, for people wondering, this board was one we did a little while ago, actually quite a while ago. It was the orange juice one. So this has had orange juice spread all over it. So I think I need to put it back through the ultrasonic. Anyway. Okay, so we've got power up. Camera light's in the way. Okay, we do have blinking. 1.2 amps. We can see if any of the VRMs are getting hot hotter than the other. So we'll plug the infrared camera in. Might help if I turn it on. Oh, come on, don't do that. Well, it seems like CPU and everything are getting perfectly hot. None of the VRMs seem to be unnaturally warm. It's still blinking, so that's good. That seems all. I mean, yeah, you're right. 1.5 amps does feel a little high, but that's my fan impeller. Ismaila, hello, welcome. Well, it's probably a bit too technical for me too. Jason, unofficial. Let's put this attempt number 2 to put it back into the chassis. I really do not like. I really do not like that. It's violating me in so many ways. Like, it's hard for me to describe. What's my wife doing here? Alita? Alita? Did I see Alita? I saw someone mention Alita. Where's Alita? Were you guys just tricking me? Raising my hopes up that my darling wife is here and then dashing it so expertly. Oh. Ah. I trusted you, man. No, this is the 163. I wish it was the 332. At least with the 332, you know, no matter what, you're going to end up resoldering that U8900. Hey Keith, so you made it. If this reboots again, then I'm going to put the mem test disk on it, see what's going on, see if it can actually get to a mem test state. Mem test disks are good for that. Yeah, there's such a minimal boot load on them. And if you can't get a mem test system up and running, then you're really going to have problems. I'm going to leave the battery disconnected for the moment. Jason, you know, you'll have to run it by me again, but I guess pretty much anything post 2012 is always useful. Mind you, I'm getting a pretty big backlog of 1286s and all that. But I mean, you really would be needing most of the stuff yourself anyway. Yes, I am planning on putting it through the ultrasonic again. Oh, there it goes. It just dies again. Something's killing it. Alright, mem test time. This is not good. This is not good. Like I said, it feels like it's a VRM issue. It's not to say it is. But it's the sort of behavior I would expect. Okay, mem test. Hey Walter. Well, we originally started out with it just randomly rebooting. And so I thought, okay, fine, we'll change the VRMs. And we've done that and it's still doing it. So I've either done a bad job on the VRMs, which is entirely possible, or the VRMs are not suitable, which might not be quite such a case, or something else. You know, maybe the current sense resistors are off the whack. It needs a battery to boot, does it? Well, you better tell memtest that because it's booting. What battery model is this? This is A1618. See if I have an A1618. Probably not. It's not exactly a. I very rarely get this in here. I wonder if is there any substitute I can have for it? Ooh, are you a 1618? Come on, be game. I don't think so. I got a Bappo 1494. I think that's for the earlier version. Crap. Definitely not you. How is it you sort of like you hoard so many batteries, you know, you get new ones, you have stock and stuff like that, and yet you don't have the ones that you need. Let's see, what are you? Ooh, you're a beautiful looking battery. What's your name? 1417. Damn it. Let me guess, I got two 1417s probably. Okay, let me have a look at this. Ah, the pain. Oh, did it just die? Supposedly it's still running, but nothing coming up. Alright, okay. Our meter's stuck. Yeah, you're right about that. Actually, that's kind of weird. I don't know why. There we are. That's fixed. 1618. $14.94. I do not seem to have compatible ones here. Physically it looks almost identical. Okay, so this is an A1494 and this one's a 1618. Are they interchangeable? Because they look pretty... it looks identical. Question is, should I try it or not a good idea? A1494. Walter, my secret weapon these days is the plastic shucker. This thing here makes very short work of batteries. I can get that out in about 2 minutes or less. Okay, thanks Jason. Yeah, it is absolutely no drama to get these out. It does look like it's got water damage. Yeah, it's got orange juice damage on it, so I'm actually going to shuck this out. And you guys can watch for entertainment purposes. I will take the speakers out though. Oh, do not tell me I've got to take the main board out. You son of a gun. It's never easy, is it? It's never easy. It's like last night's job. Just like one little fiasco after another. Should just rename this place Fiasco's Workshop. Bummer Hut. I'm not real sure about Cairns. I mean, I'm about 450, 500 kilometers south of Cairns. I'm just inland from Townsville. But yeah, I'm not sure about Cairns. We're not actually even supposed to talk to Cairns people. They are our sworn enemy. So, hey Andre. Oh great, I've got to take the daughter border out. Is there no end to the indignity that I must suffer? Yeah, well, so that's something that we've got to be mindful of, is the fact that, yeah, these machines are getting older. It's a bit like now I'm getting 333Os pretty much all just dying from PCH issues, whereas before it used to be the 333O was the saving grace of the 1286. Now, 2915 is sort of winning that department simply because you can at least disable the GPU. Taking me more time to strip this deck down than it is going to take me to get that battery up. Tony, we're around about, I think we're only about 1500 foot ASL. So it's certainly not sea level, but it's certainly not tremendously high either. Let's see, is there anything else that I've got to... Yep, there's... Yeah, it could have actually been the trackpad or something causing it too. Oh wait, did we disconnect it? I don't know. Yeah, that's getting to the genuine insult level, isn't it? Saying, asking or assuming someone you live in Cairns when you're actually a Townsville person living in Charles Towers. Alrighty. Let's get shucking. Oh, now I remember the pain with these ones. They've got that little annoying... Now comes the actual real fun part. Getting in and under this perimeter. Just trying to see if it's easy for me to access it this side. There it is. Make sure I'm not trying to jimmy up under the trackpad plate. Just need a bit more. Okay, last one. There you go, so that was more like 5 minutes. Steve, for some jobs I don't use it. I've sort of taken this as my preference for now. There are still times where I need the string, particularly if I can't get any sort of side access. I'm only screwing this in so that it doesn't move around when I want to actually do something here. Have you ever pierced a battery? Not with MacBooks or iPhones. I have pierced a battery in other ways though. When I was doing all my model aircraft stuff. One of the favourite ways to pierce a battery was to crash the damn plane into the ground and then have something in the motor department come screaming forward to meet and greet with the battery, and then they'd have a explosively good time and be all like, yay, let's catch on fire. And if you're lucky, you crash the plane in a open field area where there wasn't too much grass, and hopefully it wasn't fire season and things like that. And then you just go over to the smouldering wreck and wait for it to extinguish itself. On the other hand, if things go wrong, then it's quite a challenge, and you quickly jump in your car and you drive away. Fortunately, I've never had that situation arise. It was never really that much initial enjoyment of having your plane crash, because you're thinking about the money that are just going up in flames, and the work that you put into it to build the plane, particularly if you're making balsa planes, wood planes. That's quite a bit of work to just watch it go up in smoke. I think we'll leave it like that. And I will use... Do I have 2 ports here? God damn, I've only got 1 port. Well, how is a man supposed to deal with this situation? Do I have a hub? Yes, I do actually have a hub. I knew it would come in handy one day. Yeah, it would certainly not be good at all to start a genuinely start a bushfire because of crashing a plane. And that's equally likely to happen with a methanol plane as well, a glow motor plane. Hey Mac Genius, good to see you from Belgium. Okay, don't worry about the American power brick. These are cheap, but they're actually surprisingly useful. If you have a lot of USB 2 peripherals, usually most mainboards only have one or two or three genuinely USB 2 ports, then it's better to put a hub on them and put all your little USB 2 type devices onto the one hub rather than mixing it in with the USB 3 stuff, it seems. Or at least that's what I'm finding. Okay, so that's that for the boot. Hey Dennis, welcome from the Netherlands. Used to have a JetX power balsa wood plane. Now those we were never allowed to have because Australia is the great big protection country, the nanny country, and so for the greatest time we could not get those JetX motors, even just the little tiny balsa ones they were using for balsa planes. So that was a great indignity to me because I would see a lot of plans for JetX powered free flight gliders type things. Okay, it's a glider after the JetX runs out, of course. Hey Michael Kiram. Yes, I got mine from Element 14 or Farnell. Okay, surfacing boots. But definitely my system's stability has improved considerably since and also I put power into it. It's going to take a little while probably to boot because it's going to hunt around for a device to actually boot from. And I'm not pressing the Alt key or whatever. So here's hoping it actually gets to booting. Stephen van Zundert. Okay, there we go. We've got the upper logo. The easiest way to tell is that USB 3s, of course, have the blue tang. I think also the red tang for the permanently powered ones. I don't know if the red tang implies USB 3 or whether it just simply means there's always power. Obviously USB 2 is going to be white or black. I'm not sure which it is. That battery is not plugged in, by the way. I forgot to plug the battery in. So we actually may have a keyboard issue. Or a trackpad issue. Yeah, Travis, I actually really need to get around to redoing the whole interface on open board data. There have been so many interruptions lately that it's been difficult for me to get around to doing anything but just surviving. The amount of time that got used up, I don't want to say this in a bad way, but like when my father got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, from that sort of weekend until, well, it's still going now, even though he died 3 weeks ago now. Just the amount of time that gets consumed dealing with all that sort of stuff is, it's a lot. and it slows things down. Uh, you need both. Yeah, the fans are giving a good test. Okay, Walter, I'll see you later. Yeah, it was a bit of a yes no kind of shock. It was very quick, like I said, 4 weeks from when I took him into the emergency to when he passed away. Fortunately, no death is nice, but in terms of how things went, it's sort of it could have been a lot worse. Is basically all I can say. Maven, my apologies. Yeah, it's how long did she know for? How long did she know what was happening? I mean, when I look back on hindsight, I can see the warning flags, but the trouble was there were too many other things interfering, and realistically, at the age, there probably wasn't much that would have been able to be done anyway. That's okay, Stephen Van Zunder. I figured you meant that. Yeah. Oh no, look, yeah, I don't expect people to give apologies or anything like that. I'm just explaining the situation. About a few, yeah, Maven. That's the trouble with pancreatic in most cases is that it you don't really get to the point where you seek out medical help until it really is that you're already locked in the room where it's going to end. Arnold G, your father died in 2019, fell over in a restroom. Ah, I said, you just don't know what's going to happen. That's brutal. Jason, yeah, I mean, well, I know what that's like. I mean, just been buying my own place, as you know, and we're still in the process of actually getting to using the rest of the house because we're waiting at the moment for the people who used to own it, my in-laws. They've got a new place, but they've got to wait for the people at the new place to move out before they can move in. Yeah, so it's a big sort of waiting game at the moment. But hopefully, in about a month's time or 6 weeks' time, I'll finally start to be able to expand out and get some room around here. I would say, if when you say quick, do you mean like that day or something like that? Because I would have I found 4 weeks to be a pretty good balance, maybe six perhaps, because it gives you enough time to sort something out, but it doesn't drag it out so long that you get to the point where people get um, fatigue from the whole process. And people start unraveling on various topics. All right, so let's see. What am I going to try here? Plug in the trackpad and the keyboard and see what happens, shall we? How did this even... What? Crikey, Jason. 100,000 more? That's crazy. Oh, guess how much is the asking price? Or what did... I'm going to guess you're sort of close to the million mark, a million and a half. I guess at the end of the day, you just don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, there are some things that you can sort of assumed to happen or statistically likely to happen. But at the end of the day, you have no idea. You need to trim off the plastic. Yeah, this. Let's see if I can fold it. I don't want to trim it just yet, though. That's the trouble. Because I haven't... see, it is missing off the other one. I'm not guaranteed to have actually sold this yet, so to speak. Don't make me do this. Much sucky. I guess that has to be done ultimately. Let's see. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to cut out for where it's needed. Make sure I don't take my freaking finger off. Oh wow. No, it's going to have to be a knife. Well, that was a whole lot of fighting to avoid what I didn't end up avoiding. And it's still giving me grief. Hey Greg. What's the matter, Greg? You sighing at my lack of performance here, or sighing at your life in general? Equally applicable, I think. Well, I gotta say, this machine wasn't supposed to take this long, so I'm starting to feel a bit narky about it. Starting to feel quite tired, actually. Oh, no wonder, it's midnight. Well, if this boots successfully, then that's it for the night. I'm calling it. And then tomorrow I'll just have to ultrasonic. I was supposed to get at least 3 other machines squared away, but that ain't happening. Current's looking good, 4 amps. Alright. Seems like we have a winner on the battery situation. Okay, Stephen, well thank you for dropping in, I appreciate that. It was good to see you. Hopefully we'll see you in another couple of streams. Yeah, it was a clear boot and it was a quick boot. All the temperatures are looking good. GPU die is 129. Okay, that's normal. The GPU die 129, but when I run Valley, it should start showing a proper temperature. Hey 3X. Sorry I didn't say much tonight to you 3X. I saw you there. Yeah, I do actually, ASV, I do actually just use 18 volts for everything. Come on, make that GPU. Okay, that's weird. In some of the other machines, I find that the GPU temperature doesn't pick up until you actually start running something like this. Because, that's when it actually switches over to it. But, in this case, it's a non-functional temperature. That's a hell of a good frame rate. That's 60 odd frames per second, so it looks slick. Tony, I don't actually ever really update it. It's High Sierra. I just tell it not to do any updates. I'll leave it as it is. I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, can't complain about it. We're going to do 100 frames per second now. So that is a happy GPU. Check the keyboard. I'm gonna load the wrong keyboard, but that's okay. Keyboard's all good. I don't know if FaceTime's going to work, but we'll see. Yep, it won't work because I haven't got the camera connected. Alright. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'll have to advise the client accordingly that they're also going to need a battery. They may actually opt to do it themselves. Tony, so far, the only ones I don't really get to boot on are typically the newer machines when people have locked out the boot option simply because of security settings. But for pretty much everything else, yeah, I've got no trouble at all with the... It will occasionally pop up and say, do you want to update and things like that. But I'll just obviously tell it no. And it is fine. Okay. And thank you very much, my little 7-port hub. Go on eBay and see if you can find one of these. And it's actually amazingly difficult to find a nice compact 7-port USB 2 hub, which is why I was very happy when I found it at my electronics supplier, to the point where I think I probably should order another 5 or so and keep them in storage. They're just a useful thing to have. And yeah, they've got the power input as well. The only downside is that they ship me American power bricks, but as an Australian you kind of get used to that sort of intercontinental abuse. But that's the trouble when you've only got a national population the size of one state in the United States. Yeah, well, hopefully all the orange juice will be gone by the time I do the next ultrasonic. Anyway, okay. Well, that's it, everybody. I am out of here. I appreciate you all sticking around for yet another frustrating repair. Like last night was bad enough, and tonight, same sort of thing. Going around and trying to deal with these little nitty-gritty issues that seem to chew up your time and wear you down. So, unfortunately, that is what often happens in this repair industry. It's not all glitz and glamour like it is on the Rossman Repair channel. Alright then. I'm out of here. You all take care, and I'll see you next time. Might be tomorrow. Who knows? Don't know what's going to turn up in the mail. I guess we'll find out when you tune in next. I'll see you later. They stole my mouse. Helps if I use the right one.